What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about hologram. I already did do a pretty in-depth video on Friday all about what's really moving it, my concerns and stuff like that, but I've been getting the same type of comment and I wanted to kind of address it. So when I go over and I explain potential repercussions, what's happening and what's really how the notes are extremely damaging, it's dilution, right? So that's one of the bases of just the notes, and plus a lot of companies like to also lean on preferred shares that have convertible aspects to it. It's still equally as damaging, and based on the actual conversion of them, all the fine print, the lower the price, the more shares are issued, because you kind of see this as, well, it is a loan, the note, and then you have a certain amount that is due for interest. And so that stays the same. And if your actual share price continues to drop, then this is why more shares are issued. So it's the same dollar value, but share price going down does equate to more dilution. Very, very simple stuff. But again, I've been getting the same comments saying that they cannot dilute and these notes aren't due for 360 days. So I wanted to kind of break it down and go over that. And it's not necessarily to prove my point, only because honestly, I'm just here for entertainment purposes, of course, but at the same time, I want to make sure everyone has the most correct information out there. So even if, let's say, those people are just not knowing maybe what they're talking about, just kind of take this as an educational point. But generally looking here, so this is the last prospectus that just came out, and so pretty basic stuff. Honestly, it's very simple for the company since they've done so many of them. So you can kind of just see right here, they did a prospectus January the 6th, October the 30th, August the 3rd. You guys get the idea, like lots of prospectuses. So it's actually very easy for the company. They already have the template. I'm sure they have it all like on their desktop. Just simply change the dates. That's all you have to do. But one thing that I want to draw to your attention, and I'll highlight it for a lot of people. So they're bringing up this right here. So the notes will become due and payable 360 days after the effective date of each note. So people read that and say, hey, there isn't dilution happening because it's payable 360 days after. But one thing that they're neglecting, and I'll put this in red, is this part right here, right at the beginning. So they're kind of omitting, I don't know if it's on purpose, but they're omitting the most important point of all of the sentence that they're bringing up. It says all outstanding principal and accrued interest on the notes. So let's say by day 360, whatever's left over, then yeah, it has to be payable at that stage. Does not mean they have to wait 360 days until they start diluting. So again, do your own due diligence at the end of the day, and just I'll bring this closer so you guys can read it. This is very important. Honestly, this isn't that complex of a transaction, very common stuff, but it being extremely damaging to the company, like there's no doubt about that. So once again, there is dilution. They can essentially do it anytime they want. This is why in my own personal experience, as I shared with you on Friday, or I think a Thursday, I can't remember whenever I put that video out, every time there is a kind of random spike right here, that could be essentially dilution based on just the terms, the conversion of it. It does prompt a move higher. And so it might be dilution, it might not. Obviously, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't have inside information. We just have to wait up until their next disclosure, their next earnings, just to find out the level of true dilution that has been happening. Last time they did disclose it, they showed that the outstanding share count was, I think, 105 or 110 million. Previous disclosure was 5. And so it showed all of that was due to dilution. So dilution is going to be a very big shocker, and most likely once they do disclose their next earnings, that'll cause the stock price probably to go down a good 60% or something like that at the very bare minimum. But like I said, I'm not here to get you guys to buy, not to sell. When Hologram was starting to gain some momentum, I definitely did ride that, because if you can make money on any stock, right, if you time it right. And so essentially this was kind of a dream come true. A lot of people did probably get in here and thinking it was going to go to pretty much the highs of like 1900 or whatever, but I think this did create a lot of bag holders, regrettably. But like I said, based on the terms, I just wanted to correct a lot of individuals that you can dilute throughout day one if they really wanted. But you also have to factor in a lot of these note holders can only hold 9.9% of the overall float. So I'll go to a kind of a spare page, or I'll go right here. I've broken this down. This is just for educational purposes. Let's say this is one person. This is a investor, a nice little fun picture of someone. They currently hold no shares. What they do is they obviously convert based on their shares, and then they get more shares, so dilution occurs. They have 9.99% of the free float, which is their max, and they want more shares. So what do? They sell that to the open market, and then they dilute, rinse and repeat. This selling is the damaging part that brings the stock price lower, and eventually works in these people's favor because they get more shares. I know this is kind of not the most dramatic type of picture, but this is kind of justifies exactly this type of very quick in and out. So what they do, they dilute, causes it to go higher, and quickly it goes down as fast as it does because they sell it on the open market. Very damaging stuff. So as I've shared with you, you do your own due diligence. If you believe that hologram is going to be the next big thing with quantum, go buy more, go do what you need. I'm not here to change you. I just wanted to kind of educate. That's all. So hopefully y'all are having an amazing weekend. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I greatly appreciate that. Pop over to my Patreon. I give a lot of buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. I did do one as well for yours truly when it was starting to build some momentum. So at, I think it was $1.70, I did say that it was a buy. And then as far as a peak, I did state under the Patreon, I said you guys should probably take some profits around that $4.50 to $5 range, just in case you don't want to get all greedy. And that was pretty much the day prior to it spiking up to 886. But yeah, honestly, trade with no emotion. That's kind of the name of the game. We're all here to make money. So pop over to the Patreon, take a look at a lot of the buy signals and everything else. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.